I am fully convinced that sometimes the dumbest things that you ever do come with a bad mood and a dangerous, misplaced confidence. Now, I say this as someone who has made decisions that I couldn't emotionally afford once that feeling of confidence wore off. And the wild part is how absolutely smart and right it feels when you're doing it, right? At the time, it just feels like this is meant to be. Like, oh yeah, this is clarity. This is growth. This is me finally seeing things clearly for the first time ever. Like that time that you went completely scorched earth and just rage quitted that job that you actually need. It felt really, really good at the time. But the next day, well, rent doesn't care how empowered you felt. And I've learned that nothing says healing like throwing away all of your clothes because you didn't like the person that you were last week. So you buy a whole new personality in beige, neutral tones. True story. And then by the time stuff starts arriving in those Amazon boxes or wherever you went shopping, you're just like, God, why did I do this? I probably just needed a nap. And I've got to say that arguments over text message are probably one of my worst offenders. So this week I tried something that was completely radical for me. I didn't respond. I didn't let myself get pulled into an argument. And that is not my natural setting at all. I was curious what would happen if I didn't let my mood, pick up my phone and just start verbally vomiting all over the keyboard, right? So what happened was actually really uncomfortable, but it was also really informative. Someone, whether they meant to or not, were trying to pull me into an argument. The ones where you already feel your thumbs starting to get warmed up, right? Before you know it, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. And normally I do this knee-jerk thing and I just start typing every thought that I've ever had directly onto that keyboard, like surely what I have to say will fix this, will change your mind, whatever. Surely that will happen. And I had words. I had beautiful words with bite. I had sentences that would have made my point 1,000 times over and then circled back just to prove me right again, just for fun. I could feel them all lining up, right? Just bubbling up, waiting to be released as if it was my moral duty to send them. But this time, I didn't. I just read what they sent me and then I put the phone down. And it was wild because once I did that, I could see that they weren't in a good place. They weren't listening and they weren't going to listen to me. And they weren't going to go anywhere except back to the same point that they had already decided on before the conversation even started. And once I put that phone down, it was very clear that this wasn't a conversation and nothing that I said was going to change their mind. They saw what they wanted and that was that. And I wasn't in the mood to have somebody else's bad day turn into my problem. So normally this is where I confuse urgency with importance and I inadvertently light the fuse and start this multi-day spiral, right? Where a temporary feeling would convince me that this moment needed a permanent response, preferably in writing and preferably immediately. Yeah, a message that you can't unsend, a line that you have to explain later, a decision that sticks around longer than the mood that made it, and then it quietly ruins your week. In the past, I would feel bad for weeks after these happened. I would reread what I'd sent. I would send these random text messages trying to smooth things over or just to see if they would write back, right? I would stew, I would fester. It was awful. But this time, I just didn't. I just put the phone down and I let them do their thing and I felt fine. The funny part is that, yeah, they kept going and I wasn't saying anything and it was driving them absolutely nuts. And they sent paragraphs. They had energy. It was like this emotional cardio. They were getting it out. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you don't join the chaos. Turns out you don't have to win the argument. Who knew? You don't even have to participate if you don't want to. You just have to try not to let a temporary feeling create a permanent mess that you have to clean up later. Feelings pass, but the decisions that you make when they're driving, well, those tend to stick around. Consequences suck. So tell me, which part of your life is still dealing with a decision that your mood already forgot about? Let me hear about it in the comments.